Alice, is this cool?
Yeah, come on in.
Sorry to bother you, but we had to come and tell you how much we really enjoyed the show, didn't we, Garth?
Oh, thanks.
We're not mental or anything, so don't be afraid. My name is Wayne, and this is Garth.
Nice to meet you guys.
So, do you come to Milwaukee often?
Well, I'm a regular visitor here, but Milwaukee has certainly had its share of visitors. The French missionaries and explorers were coming here as early as the late 1600s to trade with the Native Americans.
In fact, isn't Milwaukee an Indian name?
Yes, Pete, it is. Actually, it's pronounced Miliwake, which is Algonquin for the good land.
I was not aware of that.
I think one of the most interesting aspects of Milwaukee is the fact that it's the only major American city to have ever elected 3 socialist mayors.
Does this guy know how to party or what? Huh? Huh? Okay. Well, we gotta get going.
No. Stick around. Hang out with us.
Cool. Yeah, we'll stay and hang around with yous. With Alice Cooper.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy! We're not worthy! We're scum! We suck!
It's Two Dads, One Movie. It's the podcast where 2 middle-aged dads sit around and shoot the shit about the movies of the 80s and 90s. Here are your hosts, Steve Paulo and Nick Brianna. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Two Dads, One Movie. I'm Steve.
And I'm Nick.
And today we continue our march through Two Dads, Two Decades into the 90s to 1992 and the comedy classic Wayne's World. Party on, Nick.
Party on, Steve.
So I picked Wayne's World for us. This, to me, I was looking at what came out in 92 and also what we've been watching over the last few weeks. And there've been some fairly heavy pictures over the last few weeks, especially the last 2 with Sleeping with the Enemy and Goodfellas. So I thought, hey, let's break it up a little bit. Let's do a little comedy. And this was such a great movie to do because this is definitely one I saw in the theater, 100%. This was, my parents took me to see this. I think we were like 12 when this came out. So it was like prime time to go see a movie like this. And, it stuck, like so much of this movie stuck with me and I think with other people our age throughout our lives. I mean, I still literally the other day in a professional setting found myself saying, "Excuse me, baking powder," like literally at work. Now I work remotely, so it was over a Zoom call. But the point is I said it and I'm 46 years old. So it just seemed like a real no-brainer to do Wayne's World when we got to 92. This really was a feather in the cap of Dana Carvey's career, but like really helped kick off Mike Myers as a movie star. And there's so many people, little cameos and people playing themselves. The supporting cast is just really, really great all around. And I was just really excited to talk about Wayne's World with you. And that's kind of why we picked it for this week, why I brought it here this week. What's your history, Nick, with Wayne's World?
Oh, man. So I don't think I saw this in the theater, but definitely soon after it came out on video. This hit at the perfect time. I was probably just like you getting into SNL and all that stuff right around that age, like, 12, 13, when you can start staying up late and catching it. Because there's there's no recording it or whatever. So you had to stay up to watch it.
Yeah.
And my daughter right now is 14 and she's been really into SNL over the last few years. Like it's kind of the age where it's hitting you, even the older stuff and everything. I love the sketch on SNL. And then when I saw this movie, it's fantastic. It does such a good job. And like you've talked about, there's a spectrum of SNL movie successes. And this is definitely on the higher end of that.
This and Wayne's World 2, which we'll do at some point because 2 is one of the better comedy sequels ever, really.
Yeah.
They're probably the number 1 and number 2 of the like SNL sketches turned movies. I mean, there are others that are good, but like it's hard to top these 2.
They're 3 and 4 for me because I like the Blues Brothers.
Oh, and MacGruber.
And I like MacGruber.
That's right.
But they're all great. They're all like the top end of them. They're not an It's Pat or the Ladies Man or the ones that didn't
even
quite
Coneheads
get there. Coneheads gave us a great Red Hot Chili Peppers song. If you're someone who thinks that's a real thing. I thought this movie was fun and again so quotable. Like how often were us and our friends in middle school and high school just like firing things back and forth where. Again, if you don't watch this often, you just say things in your life and then you watch the movie, you're like, Oh my God, that's a Wayne's World thing. I've been saying this to my cousin for years.
You've been saying schwing to your cousin for years?
Yeah, well, it's been a big problem.
Funky family reunions over there at Nick's house. All right, cool.
Look, he and I have an understanding.
Good. I'm glad. As long as it's mutual. Okay, let's jump into the facts on Wayne's World. All right, the movie Wayne's World was released on Valentine's Day, February 14th, 1992.
Speaking of swing.
Yeah, with a PG-13 rating and a running time of 94 minutes. Directed by Penelope Spheris, written by Mike Myers, Bonnie Turner, and Terry Turner. Starring Mike Myers, Dana Carvey, and Rob Lowe. The score is very respectable scores, a 79% from Rotten Tomatoes, a 7.0 even from IMDb, which is honestly a 79 on Rotten Tomatoes is a much better score than a 7 on IMDb. That's actually a little low on IMDb. But 2 thumbs up from Siskel and Ebert. They clearly understood the assignment, realized what they were looking at. And,
Chicago homers also.
Yeah, there you go. That's true. It's a Chicago type movie. Quite a bit of awards activity. It was nominated for 4 1993 MTV Movie Awards. It won one of them. It won the Best On-Screen Duo for Carvey and Myers, but was also nominated for Most Desirable Female. Tia Carrere was nominated. She lost to Linda Hamilton in T2. And then both Myers and Carvey separately from each other were 2 of the 5 nominees for Best Comedic Performance that year. They lost to Billy Crystal and City Slickers.
That's a split the vote type situation.
Yeah, that's a weird one in my opinion. But anyway, and then also, interestingly, at the MTV Video Music Awards that year, the video that was re-released for Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen that incorporated scenes from this movie won Best Video from a Movie. So technically, this was a win for Wayne's World as well. On a $20 million budget, which not sure where that shows up on the screen, but it was a $20 million budget. So, okay.
Music. I mean,
I guess that's true.
The music that they had to pay for.
Yes, that's a good point. $183 million at the box office, more than 9 times what it cost. Blockbuster by any measure. And obviously, one of the reasons why this movie got a sequel that came out 18 months later, the sequel comes out, and there were more and more, Lorne Michaels produced SNL type comedy movies throughout the 90s, not most of which did not hit like this, but because this one hit so big, it was a green light.
It's worth it. Yeah. To just give it a shot.
Exactly.
And, Wayne's World 2. Check out Wayne's World 2 for sure. It's really
We
good.
will absolutely do that because that, again, I honestly believe it is one of the best comedy
sequels. It stands on its own. It could have been just Wayne's World and it would have been a satisfactory Wayne's World. It would have been a great Wayne's World.
Yeah. I mean, it does a good job of picking up where this one leaves off and sort of incorporating the events of this movie into it. But it also could be standalone, which is, I think, also the mark of a really well-premised sketch. Yeah. Right? When SNL has good recurring sketches, it's because the storyline isn't as interesting. It doesn't matter as much as the characters, but those characters can take us anywhere we want to go with them. Right. And that's sort of the thing we have with Wayne Campbell and Garth Algar. All right. Let's kick it off. So the way Wayne's World begins, we are watching TV. Yes. And it turns out we are watching TV with Rob Lowe. His character's Benjamin. He's in his apartment or whatever in Chicago, big high-rise apartment in Chicago with the beautiful Ione Skye, who we probably remember as Diana from Say Anything. She was the main character that John Cusack pined after in Say Anything. Is where I remember Ione Skye from. Beautiful woman. She's not in this very much, but she is the one flipping channels. And we see a couple classic sort of late 80s, early 90s commercials. We got the clapper. There's a handful of other things that
Chia Pet.
Yeah, Chia Pet's on there. But she flips and she gets to cable access channel 10, Aurora, Illinois, and it's Wayne's World. And she's laughing at it, and Benjamin's like, what the hell is this? And she goes, oh my God, this is hilarious. Everybody loves these guys. And he immediately is like, hey, we've got somebody for Vanderhoff. We actually did see the ad. Brian Doyle Murray plays Noah Vanderhoff, who runs Noah's Arcade. Fucking worst pun name I've ever heard, and I love puns. But he does his own little commercial about, come play Xantar and Space Invaders and shit like that in my arcades. And so immediately Benjamin's like, hey, I think we got something we can sell to Vanderhoff, is what he says. So he's immediately already thinking, he's planning, he's sort of figuring stuff out. They are eating Shakey's, by the way. They mentioned specifically.
That's right.
Funny
Shakey's
because
Pizza.
Of the reference in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
That's right. That's where
the
it came
restaurant
up.
was called Shakey.
Yeah.
And is a reference to Shakey's as well. So.
And on the Wayne's World show, they have a special guest who's this guy, the inventor of the suck cut, which is like a Flowbee type thing.
Ron Paxton.
Vacuum haircutting device.
Also named, I think, in reference to Ron Popeil. His name is Ron Paxton. I imagine they did a Ron Popeil joke by calling him that, but I don't know, maybe not.
R.I.P. to Ron Popeil, I think. So he's sucking, he's cutting Garth's hair with this, and Dana Carvey, very funny with the physical stuff and like his reactions to one of the challenges with bringing a short form SNL sketch to a movie is like adding extra attributes to the characters to make them interesting. And they do such a good job in this with Garth, with just extending the Garth character, because you don't get indications of like the way he really is. And all the choices they make, his car is perfect. All these things are just so good. So I love Garth's reactions, like, you know, he's freaking out and everything. And of course, Benjamin doesn't get this, and his lady loves it. It's the funniest thing in the world, which is just a perfect. This happens with every generation where there's the thing that all the kids love and you just don't get it. But you're like, I don't know, it's making money. I mean, how many times do you try to show somebody, I think you should leave, or you try to show them the Eric Andre show or whatever, and they're like, what the fuck is this? So I can definitely relate to her there.
It's goddamn comedy gold is what it is. You should respect that Tim Robinson, the Detroiters.
So just kind of a goofy scene there. And then we have Wayne kind of like talking to the camera and introducing everybody.
He spends a lot of time talking directly to the camera in this. And there's a joke at one point, we'll get to it soon, but he jokes about, hey, only Garth and I can talk to the camera kind of thing. But he starts, and I love that he kicks off with, let me bring you up to speed. And it's just like, you know, and he lays out the whole thing. And it's like, look, if you're familiar with the SNL sketch, this would technically be unnecessary. He talks about how, you know, he's got this cable access show, his best friend Garth, he lives with his parents, but like all this stuff is either explicitly called out in the sketches or obvious. I mean, there were sketches where Wayne's mom would yell down the stairs to the basement to them and he'd yell back or whatever, right? So all this stuff is kind of known, but by giving it to us right here, you don't have to have seen the sketch to enjoy the show, to enjoy the movie. And I think that's important. And I also think this is the kind of thing where I think this is an example of Wayne, of Mike Myers and Dana Carvey having created more backstory for these characters than they ever needed on SNL. Right. And I really think, I'm sure some of the work came in transitioning to the movie, but I'll bet you there were things that Dana knew about Garth that never showed up on screen, but he knew them.
But it informs the way that he plays the character, but you don't have to talk about it. Yeah, that's a good point. So they must have thought this out a little bit.
So then when they came to like, hey, let's write the movie, it was like, cool, we already know so much about these two. What set pieces can we put them in that are fun? And that's really what you end up with, this sort of sketch adjacent, you know, comedy movie. But yeah, we also meet the Mirthmobile, right? So, and there's a little bit of weird geography going on here that I'll call out later in the movie as well. But like, it's hard to tell who the Mirthmobile belongs to, because at one point it looks like it's Wayne's car. At another point it looks like it's Garth's car. It's hard to tell if they live across the street from each other or not. I think they do, but then where is Garth driving up from? And if they just left the recording, I guess maybe they returned the van and are coming back, because it's the crew is with them, or at least 2 out of the 3 guys is with them in the Mirthmobile. So I guess maybe they brought the broadcast truck back to the cable access place and then are now returning. I guess. Okay. But there's a weird geography that doesn't quite fit.
They are both driving the car, and the Mirthmobile is this blue AMC Gremlin that has like flames on the side of it. It is just so perfect. For a funny movie car. You know, they nailed it.
Absolutely. And so they put on some music, and of course this is the sequence as we're driving around Aurora and getting some like establishing shots of different businesses and different things in the area. We get Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. I don't know about you, but this was literally the first time I'd ever heard Bohemian Rhapsody when I watched this movie.
Okay, so at this time, because I knew who Queen was and stuff, and I knew We Will Rock You and everything, and I had never heard Bohemian Rhapsody. I swear to this day, every 5 years, there's a new Queen song that comes out where I'm like, how would I have not heard that shit before? But yeah, dude, with you.
Because I think I knew We Will Rock You. I think I knew We Are the Champions. And that was probably it. My parents just weren't big Queen fans, so it just wasn't in the normal rotation of stuff they played for us on road trips. I heard a lot of Beatles, Elton John, Billy Joel, stuff like that. Not Queen so much. But it was actually funny. After this, I think I remember now, my dad bought like a Queen's Greatest Hits,
classic
tape.
Queen. I remember that.
Right. Yeah.
2 volumes of
because
it.
then I got to know like Fat Bottom Girls and Bicycle Race and Flash Gordon and all that other stuff. So over time, but yeah, this was my first experience with Bohemian Rhapsody. I think it was a lot for people our age or younger. A lot of us, it was our first experience with Bohemian Rhapsody, and it's fucking great. And it still holds up. It's fun. They're doing the headbanging. They're doing the singing along. It's just,
and it's 5 minutes into the movie and it's already given us a ton. I mean, this is a very densely packed movie.
Yes, absolutely. And so along their drive, they pause the song at one point, sort of before the real melodic slow part, and they see their buddy Phil, and it's like, Phil, you're already partied out. The dude looks like he's going to throw up the second, whatever. But Wayne tells Garth, he's like, I give you a no puke guarantee or whatever, no hurl guarantee. And this is why I think it's Garth's car, because Garth is the one so worried about puking in the Mirthmobile, even though Wayne drives it later. I do feel like, this is probably Garth's car because he's like, no, dude, what if he hurls?
Yeah. One of the stops that they make is the local kind of music store. And they drive by so that Wayne can like window gaze at his dream guitar, which is sitting there in the window there. This white Fender Stratocaster, which is, just beautiful to him.
He calls it Excalibur.
Yeah.
He's like, it will be mine. Oh yes. It will be mine.
Shout out to my cousin Jen. That is one that we say back and forth, not the other thing. So they end up making the stop at Stan Mikita's Donuts.
Yes.
And Stan Mikita was a Blackhawks player?
Yes, he was. And this was, I referenced him in Ferris Bueller as well, because I thought it would have made more sense for Cameron to be wearing a Stan Mikita jersey than a Gordie Howe jersey. So yeah, it's his donut shop, or I guess, he probably owns... Here's the thing. I don't know if there's a real Stan Mikita's donuts or not, because I could imagine the way that a lot of like ex-sports stars go into like, I own a used car dealership in the town I played in. I could see a chain of donut shops. That's the thing you do. But out front,
Tim Horton, wasn't he
I think he was a hockey player? Maple Leafs, I think. Yes, exactly. So they go outside and we meet Officer Koharski, who's this very, sort of, he looks too tan. He looks very leather.
I think this is the guy that played O'Malley, Steven Seagal's buddy in the movie Hard to Kill.
Oh, I don't think I've seen Hard to Kill.
And good to see him. It's fun to see Gen X people giving shit to a cop, because I feel like every Gen X person I know in my life just could not love cops more. So it's great to see them making these bacon jokes to the cop.
Why didn't you just follow directions? Well, just do what you're told. Just do what you're told and everything will be fine. Yeah. So I smell bacon. And Koharski, to his credit, is like,
he's a
I
good
see what
sport.
you're doing.
Yeah, good.
Bacon,
give each other shit.
Because he even says, I remember when I was a teenager and I used to say that kind of shit to cops. So that's funny. So Koharski's okay. But he tells them this story about, a tour bus going through town, and they got tips that there was drugs on board. So they had to search the bus, didn't find anything, and then had to do full body cavity searches. Yes. And he goes, I inspected 14 individuals myself. Just gross. And then there's this moment where he says that, and then Phil looks like he's going to hurl. So they're like, this guy needs coffee and crullers stat, right? And they want to get him aside. But Koharski's holding a quarter like there's a joke that was pulled. I think there was a joke cut out of this moment, because he's holding a quarter and he ends up like flipping it or dropping it and picking it up or something. But it's like, I'm imagining him like, I pulled this right out of a guy or something. And that's what makes Phil go. But they decided to cut that. But he's holding this quarter in a way that's like, there's a reason he's holding that quarter that way. That's not just random,
This movie does a great job of staying solidly PG and nibbling around any real reference. Like, even they're talking about their friend Phil, who's partied out, but they're never like, he got drunk last night, he's hungover, like they really don't quite touch all this stuff. They do make it kind of so a kid could watch it and not really feel like they don't understand everything that's happening.
You're 100% right on a lot of that. It is PG-13, and I think that it's a pretty solid PG-13. And the problem with some of this will go over kids' head stuff is that kids will repeat stuff.
Sure.
I've repeated, and this is later in the movie, but the cream of some young guy is something I said as a child.
That's
and
definitely
had to be told to knock it the fuck off.
Yep.
Because I had no idea what the hell that joke was. I just knew that like everybody reacted to it on screen. You know? But anyway, so now we get into Stan Mikita's Donuts and we meet Glenn, played by the incomparable Ed O'Neill.
That's how incomparable he is.
Incomparable, no, but played by Al Bundy. And he gives us, and he talks directly to the camera. And he's the first person who isn't Wayne or Garth to speak directly to the camera and tells us this thing about like, when you kill a man in battle, they call it heroic. But if you do it in the fit of passion, it's murder. And he's like pissed about it. And Wayne's like, whoa. Like, too heavy, too dark, and only Garth and I can talk to the camera. What are you doing?
That is so effective, right? For a couple reasons. Because one, it's showing us that some random other character can start talking to the screen at any time.
Right.
And then also that it can go really dark, like in kind of an Adam Sandler movie way, where there's just this level of darkness. So now the scope of what we might experience in this movie has been pushed out. So we're like, dude, I don't know what the hell's going to happen.
It's interesting because clearly the first act of this movie, the early part, and I don't really think that it comes back in many ways. It does a little bit later, but really the whole first act of this movie feels like it's almost like a mockumentary. It almost feels like a This Is Spinal Tap kind of situation where, Wayne and Garth are deliberately having like a camera crew follow them. And obviously that's not what's happening. We don't get any of that explicit, but the way that Wayne especially just is constantly talking to the camera and referring to it and stuff, it gives it that feel. That goes away quite quite a bit in the second act, comes back a little in the third, but like, it's a big thing early on here. So basically this is when we're kind of getting introduced to more and more characters in this world. And Terry, one of the sort of like crew guys for the show, and then another of the crew guys are sitting with this old guy, Old Man Withers. And hey, it's Old Man Withers who runs the amusement park, which is like, well, boy, that's gonna, it's one of those plants that you see it and it's like, that's Chekhov's gun. That's coming back somehow later. But you found out a little bit about Mr. Withers, didn't you?
So this guy who plays Old Man Withers has this perfect old man look.
Yes.
His real name is Carmen Philpi, Filpi.
Okay. Filthy, man.
And he died several years ago, lived to the ripe old age of 80. So good for him. But my wife and I were watching this and she was like, he's always an old man and stuff. Like, what are his other roles? And we go to his roles, and these are just some of his things from IMDb, his other roles over the years. Bum number 2, Wino, usher / drunk, bum, prisoner, dummy, bum, wino, farmer number 2. Good for him there. Okay. Ticket taker. We're moving up in the world. The bum, bus station bum, panhandler, hobo jack, bum.
Oh, he got a name on that one.
Yeah, he got
Hobo
Jack. Let's see. Mop man, jail bum.
Hey.
Okay.
What the fuck is a jail bum?
Wino.
That's 3 winos.
The bum.
Wow.
Street bum number 1. I mean, so you can see that this actor has so much range. He can play anything from a street bum number 1 to boxcar hobo number 4. And, just knock it out of the park. So I thought it was really funny that from early in his career, I mean, this guy was in movies until the 2000s. And back in like 1968, they're like, oh, hey, congratulations on graduating Juilliard. You're going to be playing hobos for the rest of your life.
I assure you that man did not attend Juilliard. I would still like to know what the hell a jail
ate out
bum
of the
is.
dumpster outside Juilliard.
But like, what the hell's a jail bum? If you're in jail, like you have a place to live.
Doesn't
and food.
that sound good?
Like,
you're in jail, but you're homeless. So you can go.
So I just live in the yard.
So I can go. So I'm free.
You just live in the yard. They make you sleep under newspaper in the yard. That's it. Like that sounds awful. It's like the opposite of solitary confinement, but still worse.
Oh my god.
So that's Old Man Withers.
Stacy, Wayne's ex-girlfriend, played by Laura Flynn
Boyle. Yeah,
she looks great. I mean, real flex for this to be the get away from me girl, right?
I gotta say, so it's Laura Flynn Boyle, who famously Twin Peaks, The Practice, right? She has had a great career on television. As a kid, like starting from the first time, I thought she was gorgeous and still do. And they play she's kind of crazy a bit, but like not enough. Like Wayne comes off like an asshole to Stacy because the worst thing she does is like buy him a bad gift and try to get him jealous by making it with another guy. That's the worst shit she does. That's not that bad. And she looks stunning. Now look, this is a world in which a guy who looks like Mike Myers ends up with Tia fucking Carrere. So clearly he has the ability to punch above his weight.
And a guy with Mike Myers' like life as well. Lives with his parents. Like he says earlier, like I got an extensive collection of name tags and hairnets about his jobs and everything.
Not a successful person.
Just a guy.
But Stacy is there.
She brings Wayne a gift. She's like, and they're just, and she gives him a gun rack, right? And this is where he has this great line.
Well, when she walks up and is like, Wayne, it's our anniversary, and he's like, we broke up, so no, it's not, like kind of thing. And she's got this thing, and it's it's a big, wide, large thing. But he says, if that's a severed head, I'm going to be very upset, which is a fucking great line. But then he opens it up, he kind of rips it open, and it's a gun rack. And he goes, what is it? She goes, it's a gun rack. And he goes, a gun rack. What do I need with a gun rack? I don't own a gun, let alone multiple guns that would necessitate an entire rack.
Yeah.
What am I going to do with a gun rack? And her response, hey, Wayne, if you're not careful, you're going to lose me. I mean, it's just like, she's so good. She's so good at this.
It's great. She has this necklace on that just says Wayne on it. Man.
Oh God, funny.
So now we go to, and they make mention of, we're going to be at this
she asks him, "Are you going to go?" She asks him, "Are you guys going to Gasworks tonight?" And they all go, "No!" Like real fast. Yeah. But sure enough, they end up at the Gasworks.
So they go to the club there, and this is the Rock Club, and Meatloaf is the bouncer, the doorman there. And Wayne asks him, "Oh, who's playing tonight?" And he names these bands, and he's like, "And the Shitty Beatles." And he goes, "The Shitty Beatles, are they any good?" He's like, "No, they suck."
So it's not just a clever name.
That always made me laugh so
The other band, by the way,
is
the other band he mentions is the Jolly Green Giants, who we actually will see briefly later.
Okay.
And then right now finishing up is Crucial Taunt. And that's Tia Carrere, Cassandra's band. Cassandra Wong, I believe is her last name. And she is played by Tia Carrere. And this was, when we did Total Recall, we talked about, I know for myself, the stranglehold. Oh, sorry, it was True Lies, not Total Recall. But it's True Lies. The stranglehold this woman had on me in this era, in this sort of early 90s. She is stunning.
She's
she
great
in this. And I did a little research because I thought this was the case and verified. She did all her own vocals. So all of the Crucial Taunt cover songs, that's her singing. And she would go on after this movie. Her first album came out a year after this movie came out. She has since won 2 Grammy Awards as a Hawaiian music artist. She has won twice, and has been nominated additional other times for Best Hawaiian Music Album at the Grammys. So she is a multi-Grammy Award winning recording artist. And the first time in popular entertainment that she sang, this movie.
Good for her.
Movie, because her first album came out after this movie did. So it was amazing. Part of what she did when she auditioned to get the role was sing. And I read somewhere, it was like Linda Ronstadt or somebody, but she sang like in the auditions. And they were like, oh, so you can do both. We won't have to hire some other singer to be the vocals of Cassandra. We could just use you. That's already, I'm sure they were already interested in her for the part, but like that was like a cherry on top situation for her.
Well, and it adds a ton to the movie, and you can tell that it's her singing. And it really is, because there's certain things in movies that they affect people different ways, but I tend to find that kind of thing really distracting.
Yes.
So it helps. You can just relax and enjoy it. It is her singing.
Yes. Yeah, and she's good. She does well.
Yeah, they do great. They do fantastic. Yeah.
We'll get into later the whole concept of like, I have a metal band, but we're just a cover band, but we're going to try to make it. That's an interesting thing that doesn't quite work, but we can get to that later.
we're a heavy metal band, and we do golden earring covers.
Right. Like
but her show's cool, and this is kind of like a better version of the club from Singles.
Yes,
where they go to see Alice in Chains every night.
Right.
So
Soundgarden was there too.
So and Wayne is trying to talk to Cassandra, and is kind of messing it up. His lines aren't going over well.
But she's
not. She doesn't hate him, but she's just kind of like, all right,
whatever, guy. Yeah. But I do love when he turns and kind of really sees her for the first time after making it through the crowd. We get a play of Dreamweaver by Gary Wright comes over. I believe you can get me
with like,
through the night.
And it's like blurred and like sparkly around her and everything.
Everything. Right. So he's falling in love, but she's basically just like, he's like, hey, can I call you? Which is like pretty forward. Good for him. Just asking straight out. I like that. And she's just like, if you've got $5, you can come to the rent party. Right? They're throwing a party at their loft to make rent, I guess is the idea, right? So $5 at the door. It's like tomorrow night, I think she says something like that. So he gets a flyer, and at least now he knows, she'll be able to or he'll be able to see her again, or be some whatever. And so when Garth finally catches up to Wayne, because Garth gets in this little tiff with another big guy.
Oh yeah, some guy's like pushing him around,
you dweeb or whatever, and he goes to his car to get a stun gun with like a belt. And basically tases this guy and throws him across the room, which is a weird little sub thing.
They make Garth kind of like Data from the Goonies
a little bit
in this,
but like not for any good reason. And there's only one other moment where you really see it, and it kind of doesn't work with the Benjamin's talking to him later. By the way, though, he is wearing, I don't think he has the stun gun on, but when they go see Alice Cooper later in the movie, he's got that belt on with the little the little meter as a belt buckle. So I don't know what's going on there. But so when Garth catches back up to Wayne at Gasworks and has chatted with him, is when he says like, whoa, she's a babe, and she's a robo babe, and she makes me feel kind of funny, like when we used to climb the rope in gym class. And the funny part is I never had to climb a rope in gym class, but I still got that joke.
Yeah. Just get a rope installed in your bedroom. You never have to leave. One of the jokes in this movie that was definitely of the time that I appreciated is they're driving, and there ends up being this, limo, fancy looking Rolls Royce type limo next to them. And he has the guy roll his window down and does the "Pardon me, do you have any Grey Poupon" joke to him. So they're right on the pulse. And it's funny watching this stuff where it's like, oh, that's dated. No, it's not. It was made for the people that were fucking alive and watching it then. And it worked perfectly.
And I don't know how many times that joke had been done before this. The commercial was well known, but I don't know that it had really been lampooned all that much.
Right.
So.
Like were people doing that to each other and So they go to this meeting now. They're meeting with Benjamin, and the TV guys are talking.
Right. So it's Benjamin,
They're pitching,
Rob Lowe,
yeah.
and they're pitching to Vanderhoff, played by Brian Doyle Murray, and the other person there is the director Russell, who's played by Kurt Fuller, who I love. Kurt Fuller,
he's so good.
He's so much fun. He was, and he's a kind of a Northern Cal guy. Grew up in the San Joaquin Valley, went to like SF State. Like, I mean, he's that kind of guy. But he's done so much stuff. I mean, Ghostbusters 2 is one of the first things I remember him in. But like, the dude ended up, if you look at his IMDb, and I'm not going to go through it, but like every single like legal drama on TV, he has at least one episode in as an attorney. The dude just went around playing, like he was on The Practice one episode opposite Laura Flynn Boyle, and like things like he just played attorneys like everywhere he went. But Kurt Fuller's fantastic.
Better draw than playing bums and winos.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But he's a lot of fun, and he's great in this because he's not as conniving as Benjamin.
Eric from Billy Madison, kind of. He's like not Eric. The Carl character.
Yeah, he's
like the guy who's kind of on the good guy's side, but he's working for the bad guys.
He has to go along with the bad guy because it's his job, and he generally doesn't give a shit about the good guys to begin with, but then kind of comes around because he's not inherently bad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's got some reasonableness to him, and he'll come around eventually. But I just love Kurt Fuller as an actor. I think he's fantastic.
He says something in this meeting that killed me, where I think they're talking about maybe the shows that they could run his commercial during or something like that. And he goes, African American Digest. Yeah. And then Brian Doyle Murray's like, I never heard of that. And Rob Lowe's like, it's on very late. And then Russell goes, it's actually won several awards.
Like, this is a really good show. And it's so sincere. Like, and
it's just one of those little like jabs in the movie that I think was so well placed.
And it's one of those places, right, where it's at like, here's the thing. Here's who he's not. He's not Rob Riggle in Step Brothers. Like, he's not fully on board with the dickhead. You know what I mean? Yes. That's who Kurt Fuller is.
Totally.
Like, that's the opposite of this, right? But yeah, he's a lot of fun in this. And so then the next morning we kind of cut to the next day, and the Mirthmobile is getting like smog checked or worked on or something, whatever it is.
And for $47.
Right. Phil, their drunk buddy from the night before, is working at the car shop, whatever. And Wayne is learning Cantonese. And so he's like yelling, because he's got the headphones on, so he's yelling very loudly along with his training tapes and scaring Garth. But yeah, they end up like, Phil's like, hey, I got you guys, good deal. It's like $47.50 or whatever. And they're like, yeah, oh no. And they're pulling like individual dollar bills out and waiting for him to say, no, that's not enough. Like, do the math yourself, dude. But also Phil is telling them about this great band at Gasworks last night. You guys should have been there. They were awesome. And Phil, we brought you there. That's how drunk Phil was.
Nice.
That's how blacked out Phil is. He can remember Tia Carrere's boobs, probably. It's about all he can remember for the night. Doesn't remember how he got there or how he got home.
He was like, there's this great band. It was just one chick, and they were playing Dreamweaver all night.
I don't know how she did the drums and the guitar and the bass, but she wailed, man. Yeah, so Benjamin meets them at a place called Patio's, like a tiki bar.
Yes.
And so it's Wayne and Garth and Benjamin. And Benjamin's got like probably like a vodka soda or something in front of him, and Wayne, I think, has a beer. And then Garth orders, the cocktail for $3.
Dude, it's insane. It's like a scorpion bowl. One of those girls' night out. Like, can we all finish this before it was illegal?
I got a quick funny story about this. So I was in Miami on business a few years ago working for a sports website, and we all went out to dinner, and I was super excited because we were going to a Cuban restaurant, and I'd never been to like Miami and eat Cuban food down there. And so I was really looking forward to getting a Cubano sandwich. So I'm a big fan. Well, we went for dinner, and I didn't realize that they didn't have those at dinner. It was like for lunch only. So I was kind of like disappointed, and like the waiter, I think, could tell, like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, like, why don't you just, give me like a Cuba Libre, and I'll get like, paella or something, like whatever. And he goes, well, now do you want the small Cuba Libre or you want the big Cuba Libre? And I go, oh, well, sure, let's do the big. Like, my company was paying, like, whatever. Yeah. Motherfucker did not tell me that big meant for 4. So an enormous like punch bowl with 4 straws in it of just rum, Coke, and lime come out to the table. And basically, like, at that point, everybody's looking at me. And then you got to realize, like, I'm here in the capacity as like a boss of several of the people that I'm with. Like, that my direct reports are with me.
So you got to finish it. So otherwise you look weak.
It's basically like, I can't offer this to anyone else. I can't share with anyone. This is like 2023. We're not sharing. You know what I mean? And so I end up drinking the whole thing. But like, it was just like, you asshole. You should have told me this. It was like, when you said big, I thought you meant like a pint glass versus like a little highball. You know what I mean?
If the size difference is more than 50% bigger than the previous size, then you need to explain that it's like, I'm totally with you.
But
there.
I almost looked like Garth sitting at this table. Luckily, it wasn't blue or like crazy like that. But good God,
his drink is so damn funny here. Yeah, so Benjamin basically offers them, like, we want to sponsor your show. We want to attach it to Noah's Arcade.
Run it on our network.
We're going to give you $5,000 each, which is, you know, world-changing money to these guys.
Clearly not nearly enough for what's actually being asked of them, but so much more money than they see.
Right. Which is Benjamin being a good executive. You find somebody 100%. Who is desperate enough that a shitty amount of money will make them happy.
Exactly.
So this is a funny thing here that Garth does is they give them the contract and the pen to sign it, and Garth like very purposefully nudges the pen off the table and then kind of like nods his head to the camera, motions down like, hey, follow me down here under the table. I got to talk to you.
Like in mockumentary style. You now feel like there's an active camera crew there, you know, that he's interacting with. But he basically just like calls out what
he's like, I don't know if I like this. You know, I don't feel great about this.
Okay, I got to get back. Like, and he's just like, it's very funny. And then he does something. He like pulls something out of the drink. It's like a breadstick or something. I can't tell what it is. It's something he's like kind of sucking on or chewing on or something.
Like crazy stuff in there.
Yeah, Dana Carvey's doing a lot with his mouth. In this scene, and I can't fully understand it, but I do know when Benjamin says, you know, I've got a check here, cashier's checks for each of you for, you know, $5,000 each, and that's when Wayne says, "Excuse me, baking powder?" And like again, I literally still say that shit, and I'm almost always like, I shouldn't have said that when I say it. Like it's just the thing that pops out of my mouth before I even thought of it. But they're freaking out, and this is when, and then Garth like, whatever he's eating or sucking off, I can't tell what he's doing with this little piece of food from the drink, but it like gets down his throat, and it's like, and he slaps in the back and he spits it and it lands in the drink or whatever, in another drink. And that's, I love when he shoots, he scores, which is just another great one. Oh God. So funny.
So we're back with Cassandra.
Yeah, this is like the rent party she was talking about the night before.
And Wayne's chatting with her, and she mentions that she learned English from the Police Academy movies. I would have loved for her to do like 10 seconds of Winslow there. Just hit me with some sound effects. She does all her own sound effects in this movie.
So a couple things about this loft, man. This loft is enormous.
Again, loft's unrealistic in all these.
Her place is almost bigger than the gasworks that they were at, almost. I don't know if we're supposed to believe that the whole band lives here or if this is just her place. Because if it's just hers, it's huge for one person. But also we don't see the band there without being there to play with hers. So it does seem like it's her place, which is crazy. We get another Dreamweaver callback when and then there's a thing in here that I love, which is you know, they arrived by dancing out of the car. We got $5,000.
Yes.
We got $5,000. You know, so they've obviously told the crew like about the news, and Terry goes up to Wayne and it's like, I love you, man. And he's like, I love you too, Terry. No, I love you, man. And all Terry wants is a thank you.
Yeah.
Because when he does it to Garth, he says, I love you, man. And Garth says, thank you. That's like the end of it. Terry is such a wonderful, positive masculinity like example. I really love Terry in this movie. Like, and it's not a way that I thought about this, you know, the last time I saw it, maybe 5 or 10 years ago. But like looking at it now, it's like the guy can just tell his buddies he loves them. Like, that's awesome. We need more of that shit. Like,
the whole crew, honestly, is great. I love all those guys. It works well. They don't give them a ton to do, but they all serve their purpose well. I love Michael DeLuise. He's one of the crew members, and he was the kind of bad guy in Encino Man.
Yes, the rich kid or whatever. Right? Like
And he has not been in that much, and I think that guy is so fucking funny. Really I'm like really disappointed he's not in a lot more, but I love that he's in this, and he's just perfect.
When he hits on Vanderhoff's wife later, it's fucking brilliant. It's so good.
So Wayne had been learning Cantonese,
That's right.
And he's starting to have a conversation with Cassandra.
Yes.
So Cassandra says she learned English from Police Academy, and then Wayne just says something to her, and Cantonese like, you look very beautiful. She's like, oh my God, you said this to me.
Yeah.
And they get into this crazy vocabulary, you know, as their conversation goes in and there's subtitles. One of the things he's talking about his ex-girlfriend who's like sitting behind them trying to make them jealous.
Yes.
And he's like, the irony is I feel partly responsible for her self-nullifying behavior. Like, they're just going through all this stuff.
Yes.
All these great subtitle tropes where he talks out loud for, 3 seconds and then 30 seconds of subtitles show up, and then the opposite. And they really hit it from every angle.
I don't think in previous viewings of this movie I really understood the joke of he said a little and then the text was long. That was a joke I kind of got, right? But the vocabulary ramp up and self-nullifying behavior as like not just vocabulary wise, but to be able to say a concept like that out loud in another language is like such advanced understanding of that language, whatever it is. I didn't really get that joke until this time, and I laughed my fucking ass off when that happened. The other thing is another thing that I absolutely still say. I mean, I honestly, once a month, this comes out of my mouth in perfectly like reasonable time to say it. And if a frog had wings, it wouldn't bump its ass when it hopped. I say that all the time to mean, yes, if the thing were different, the thing would be different. Like when people say, well, what about this? Yeah, if a frog had wings, it wouldn't bump its ass when it hops.
Right.
I say that all the time. And I don't know if I'm being culturally insensitive. Like, I don't know if I've like taken on some, like their culture is not my costume or some shit. Like, I don't know, but I fucking say that all the time because it's in this movie. And it got ingrained in my head when I was 12 as like, that's the canonical example of, if the thing were different, it'd be different.
Yeah.
But it's like every culture has them. Like,
Wayne's World is your culture at this point.
At this
so
point, it's true.
It's that culture, but it's your culture too.
Fair enough.
Okay, so we've got Wayne and Garth laying on the hood of the car,
hood of the Mirthmobile,
by the airport, laying there, looking at the sky, talking, waiting for the planes to drive over, and kind of, what are your hopes and dreams? And Garth is like singing the Star Trek theme song,
like whistling
right?
it.
He's whistling it.
Yep.
He's like, sometimes I wish I could boldly go where no man has gone before, but I'll probably just stay in Aurora.
Yeah. And they talk about Cassandra and how much of a babe she is. And Wayne's like, if it was in Latin, she would be Babia Majora, which I definitely didn't fully get that joke at 12, that's for sure. And then I think Garth calls her Babraham Lincoln. It's just like fun stuff. Then the airplane flyover, and it's like I would do that. I would kind of want to do that. I don't know where I could do that near us.
I know.
If there's any place like near SFO
well, there's a very
Oakland,
small airport up the street.
True.
I don't think you'll get the same effect.
Yeah, I want like a 737 to like fly, several hundred feet above me, and that's it. But yeah.
So we're in the new studio. They're kind of getting a tour. Like, here's your new studio, and it's freaking them out because they're like, you've set up Wayne's exact basement in this giant studio building. We had
Wayne's mom's basement, right? I mean, I think it's like Wayne's parents' house basement is there,
and you have all this camera equipment and everything. Yeah. And Russell is trying to take the crew through the concept of counting down.
Oh yeah,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But you don't say 2 and 1, so it's 5, 4, 3. Beat. And these guys not getting it is so funny. And one of the guys, after he first does it, he's like, he didn't say 2 or 1. And they're just having so much trouble.
The funny part about it is they ask Russell why, and he says, it's just how we do it. And it's like, dude, there's a really simple explanation for why. You roll sound before you roll video. So you don't want to hear the 2 and the 1 because the sound is rolling. Like, it's not even, there's a good reason for it. It's not like, well, we just do this because it's TV and we're fancy. Like, no, like you say 2 and 1, it'll get caught on the transmission. Like, don't do that. Anyway. But yeah, so they're showing him and they go down, they're going to practice with this new blue screen. Yeah. Because he says, we got this thing called chroma key, which is funny. That is actually that's actually the technology, right? Is chroma key. And so it's like, so cool. We can do all this stuff. We can go to New York. Hey, let's get a gun and go to a Broadway show or like whatever, like all this kind of stuff. And then the classic, of course, is, they go to Hawaii, they go to whatever, and then, or imagine being whisked away to magical, and then what pops up behind them, Delaware. Hi, I'm in Delaware.
So good. That's a thing. I mean, that will never be uncoupled from Delaware in my 100%. Mind.
Yes.
We can have a president from Delaware. I don't give a shit. I never think of that guy's name. I think about Wayne's World. So Noah and his wife are visiting the studio to say, God, this is what you're paying for. This is what your brand is going to be attached to.
Where the magic happens. Yeah.
So, and Wayne, when he meets Noah, he's introduced and he does the, sphincter says what? What?
A sphincter says what? What? Exactly. Precisely. Or whatever. Yeah. Exactly. And this is where, I don't remember the character's name, but one of the crew is sort of like hitting on the Vanderhoff's wife.
Yes.
And he comes up and he's like, it's a big camera, huh? Or whatever. And she's like, whoa, yeah. And he goes, do I scare you? He's like, do you want me to? It's to me that straddles the line between like a little gross, but like honestly kind of baller. Like, I don't know. That's a funky one. Like, but she is clearly interested because as they go to leave the Vanderhoffs, he goes back and goes, and may I say your wife's a babe. And she's like clearly quite pleased. Yeah. Cause like, this is the thing. They gave Vanderhoff clearly a wife who's like kind of a trophy wife person, but she's also like age appropriate. So she's a little older like he is, maybe in her 40s. And so having this like 20 something guy, hitting on her is very very like, oh, she's very happy about that.
I do declare.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so Wayne and Cassandra are kind of chatting about stuff. Well, Wayne and Garth are doing a little street hockey.
That's right.
This is another scene again. Came up so much, and the game on car.
Oh, all the time.
Car
we
comes.
do all the time.
You got to bring the net back to the sidewalk. Game on. Bring it back out to the street. But yeah, that's very relatable.
It wasn't street hockey as much for us, I think, but like playing, like throwing the football around in the street, we would do that. But here's the thing: I mentioned earlier geography issues, right? And this is what I'm talking about. So Garth wakes up and his dog, who looks exactly like Tina Turner, is telling him that Wayne is here. So he gets up and he goes outside and he's got the gear on, he's got the mask and everything, the pads, and he's got a stick. But isn't that Wayne's house he comes out of that the truck had been parked in front of?
I couldn't tell because, the Mirthmobile was parked in the driveway in the background.
Yeah, on the other side of the street. And so it's hard for me to tell. Like, I guess both houses just look very similar. And if that's true, then it is Wayne's car.
Yeah.
Because the Mirthmobile was parked in the driveway of the other house. But it really looked like Garth came out of Wayne's house. I got so confused for a minute. And I'm sure this is me just paying way too much attention to shit that doesn't matter in this movie, but it just confused me.
I picture you with like a gigantic relief map, like moving different pieces around, trying to figure out.
I'm in the basement in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and I've got the whole map of the town up, got everybody marked, like got 37 pieces of evidence.
So we end up back in the so Wayne and Cassandra are kind of hanging out and talking in the car. Just a funny line from Wayne where he says, I thought I had mono once for 6 months. It just turned out I was really bored. So he has the sweet Discman with the aux input setup.
Yeah, probably Velcroed onto the dash. Been there, done that, man.
Remember when 10-second anti-skip became the standard? Because when you had the no anti-skip one, it was like, you better be driving like in the water. Like it's going to skip no matter what. And then when you had that 10-second buffer, you're like,
it really made a huge difference. Although it would be funny because it would be like either this track, I can't remember exactly how, when I think the track would start normally, but the anti-skip doesn't kick in for the first 10 seconds, right?
Yeah,
because because I have to get ahead of it or whatever. But yeah, it was a nightmare. Like,
and Cassandra very impressed by it.
Very impressed.
That's what I love is for her to see this thing. Like, whoa, hey.
Hey, 1992, man, that was no joke. But they go to the music store. They go back to the music store. Garth is also there, but didn't come with them. So I'm not quite sure how Garth got there. But that's okay. And so Wayne goes up to Excalibur, the Fender Stratocaster in the locked case, and he wants to see it. And I love he plays a couple riffs here. The first one is the "Can I help you" riff.
Yeah, I love that concept.
Can I help you? Like, yes, my good man. I would like to take a look at the Fender Stratocaster, please. And so he takes it out and he starts to play. And this is funny. I don't know the version you watched. Did it actually sound like Stairway to Heaven? Because the version, I think it did. But there have been versions of this where it doesn't sound anything like Stairway.
Really?
Yeah, because they lost like the rights to do it because it was a performance. There was something weird about it where like the later streaming versions, it's just some little notes. It's not Stairway to Heaven.
No way.
And it has something to do with rights. And I couldn't dig into all the
we get Mandela affected with Wayne's World?
There was definitely a reconstruction of this.
Berenstain Bear Way to Heaven. Jesus.
I can't remember if it was something just about it being on home video, or there was something about it where it was like only because of the theater you could do it. But it was something weird.
That's so off-putting when it happens. Like if you're familiar with something and then the sound is different. Yeah, the one I watched was Stairway to Heaven.
Okay.
Great joke, good classic rock joke,
Yeah, no Stairway denied.
and then Garth gets behind the drum set. There's never been an actor that knows how to drum that we don't know about. That's my theory.
They all let us know.
Every single one definitely lets us know.
John C.
right?
Riley, Dana Carvey,
You're getting behind the set. So he does it, and then he finishes it with the "I like to play."
I like to play.
Good Garth line.
Oh man.
So Benjamin and Wayne are kind of talking about like the changes required to the show because of their new sponsorship. Yeah. So it's like, oh, well, you're selling out. You can't do things the way that you always did them.
That's right.
And then I think this is probably the funniest part, maybe the most I laughed in the movie.
It's so good.
Among a strong field.
But very strong scene, very, very easy to pull out of it, I think. And actually, for some reason, I've seen this scene on like TikTok and Instagram in recent years. Like it's kind of begun to live on its own, but the product placement scene, right? So they're at the craft services table and it's already laden with like name brand products, but they really let you see that like Wayne's got a Pizza Hut pizza and he's got Doritos and he's like holding the bag up while he eats it, talking about how selling out,
as he's
saying, all this stuff,
like,
whatever. And
contractor, no, I will not bow to any sponsor. And then takes a giant bag of Doritos right in front of his face.
Big label right in the suit. And then Garth is head to toe in Reebok, from the shoes to the pants to the shirt to
like
the
a
headband.
Everything. He looks like one of Allen Iverson's like entourage members. It's such a great look. I want that whole fit. Dude.
I thought
he looked so good.
He looks like a NASCAR driver. He's so done up in this. It's really
crazy.
wild.
It's all over the place. I do wish that he had pumps that he had pumped up during that scene.
Well, it's funny because his hat was a pump logo on it, but he didn't pump. I think they were.
I'd love a pump hat that I pump so it would like stay on tighter. Like you're going on a boat, just pump your hat out.
And then of course we get the one that there's Pepsi as well, but then we get the one brand that doesn't still exist from this, which is Nuprin. Right, little yellow, different.
Yeah.
And I never took Nuprin. I only know of Nuprin from
Just from
this
the ad.
movie.
Me too.
Like, from the TV commercials.
And I don't know if it's one of those that it's like, oh, we found a better way to treat that, or if it's like, oh, that's what they used to call fentanyl.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, where like you learn about something where you're like, oh, this was sold over the counter, and now
like, remember those diet pills? Like, no, I don't. Oh, well, people died. So yeah, Nuprin fucking killed people. Like, I don't know, it's possible.
So really funny scene, really goofy shit. And again, like this is such a playful movie, and that part is just I love it because like it doesn't lose the SNL anything can happen element to it.
Exactly. And so, yes, then we go back to Stan Mikita's Donuts and Cassandra's there hanging out with the guys and they're talking. And Garth has been eyeing this woman he just calls Dream Woman.
Yep.
But it's Donna Dixon. She's great, great actress, very fun. She was in like Spies Like Us and a bunch of other stuff. She's really great and beautiful. And so he's like staring at her and they're just like, why don't you just go talk to her? And we get a little dream sequence, like a little daydream where Garth goes to the jukebox and turns it on and Foxy Lady by Jimi Hendrix comes on. And he basically does this like
his dance
thrusting dance.
Funny.
Oh man.
Because the beginning of it, it's such like a goofy, cute little thing where he's like doing the ears, and then it's like 45 seconds of just air humping.
Oh man. That's good shit. And then we got to back to Cassandra's loft. Wayne is there. Again, the mullet and the out of shapeness and the tidy whities.
He's so terrible. Yeah.
How
it's really
is he
amazing.
with her? You know, again, good for Mike Myers. It's his movie, so okay. But he's there sort of playing around, kind of in bed, and then she gets a call from Benjamin about. From her drummer, Anthony, and he's like, oh, I can't make the like whatever rehearsal or the studio, I don't know, the video shoot, whatever. He can't make something. She's like, dude, this is bullshit. Like, you got to be there. But he's the whole time, Wayne is like pulled his tidy whities up his butt crack and is like doing little things, putting on her bra over his shirt and doing the like Marilyn Monroe, Happy Birthday, Mr. President thing and like making her laugh, whatever.
It is really funny to fuck with somebody who's on a serious phone call. A serious, like a business serious phone call, not a death in the family serious phone call. But it is really funny to do that while somebody's on a call like that. So I love Wayne for that.
Okay. I hate talking on the phone, and I generally hate having to like dedicate my attention to the phone call. So if I'm then being distracted, like I don't react well to that. Like that is definitely a thing that I'm just like, could you just fucking give me a second?
Don't
like,
dance around in front of Steve's window when he's on a business call.
Thankfully, Zoom calls are different. I kind of have to be front and center on that, so I can just, ignore. But yeah, anyway. But yeah, so they play around, and then this is when we get, I think the first of several times that a piece of text flashes on the screen and Wayne reacts to it.
Yes.
Which is she calls him an asshole, but playfully he jumps onto her, and then it flashes gratuitous sex scene, and he turns on and goes, excellent. So
good way to do that, and a funny joke. So now they end up invited up to Benjamin's very well appointed penthouse. I don't know if it's the top floor, maybe not, but
high up. Yeah,
it's huge apartment, great view and everything. They're like, "Ooh, this has a terrace," Cassandra says something about, "Oh, it feels so free to live up here," and Benjamin's like, "Well, it costs a lot of money." Like everything he's saying is shitty, right? So he brings out. I don't know if what he brings out is champagne
Dom
or
Perignon. So he says Dom Perignon, which is definitely champagne.
And then is it Wayne who says like, "Oh, I've had this"? And he's talking about the distinction.
Yeah, Cassandra's like, "I don't think I've ever had French champagne before." And he goes, "Oh, actually, all champagne is French. It's named after the region," which is not incorrect. But he is wrong about the next thing he says.
Okay,
which is that Americans got used to calling all their sparkling, but otherwise it's sparkling white wine. Here's the problem, bro. It is not sparkling white wine. Most of champagne is made with red wine grapes. because most champagne is a blend of Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier, and Chardonnay. If you have a purely sparkling white wine, it's called a Blanc de Blanc, which Dom Perignon does not make. Or at least that Moet and Chandon does not make as a Dom Perignon. So they'll make a Blanc de Noir and they'll make a Brut, which is a blend. But either way, there's definitely red wine in the sparkling wine. So I had an issue with that, obviously, and I will take that.
So much better than what my question was for you. I wrote down Sommelier Corner. So if somebody drops a champagne where they should be saying sparkling wine, how much of an urge do you feel to like chime in?
Hell no,
in that situation?
Not
You
remotely.
let it sit.
I absolutely
You're like, I don't want to
slide.
get into this.
Doesn't matter. Because it's one of those things where, look, if you are talking about a sparkling wine from another country where that country has a way they refer to their sparkling wine and you call it champagne, like if you're talking about Cava from Spain or Prosecco from Italy and you're calling it champagne, I would probably offer a correction. Be like, hey, you know what? Actually, from Barcelona, they call it Cava. It's still a sparkling wine, but they call it Cava. And then, if you're in Italy, that's Prosecco or that's, Spumante or that's something else, depending on what it is. If you're talking about an American, like a California like we call this méthode champenoise. So it's basically saying like, we made this in the same method that they make champagne in, right? And they won't put the word champagne on the bottle because that's an agreement between winemakers in France and winemakers in the United States. They won't do it anymore. They used to, but like since the mid 90s, there's been an agreement. We won't use place names that don't apply anymore. But they will still say méthode champenoise on the bottle. And it's like, if a regular person called that champagne, I would never correct them.
Okay.
Because it's fucking a dick move.
So you're saying that there are regular people and there are superior people who are you.
But I'm just saying, like, if it's something where it's like, oh no, this is an Italian Prosecco and you call it a champagne, I would probably let you know, actually, that's Prosecco, because it's a whole different thing.
No, that makes perfect sense. I just know that like in certain fields, there's things that people say where you're like, I can't fucking stand. I can never let that go. So I didn't know if this is like the one thing.
It probably is for some people.
Most.
It probably is for some people. And I think certainly it's probably a bigger deal if you are in the wine industry and you are French. You probably care a hell of a lot more about champagne being called correctly than like I would.
That's very true. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for that information. Yeah. So, and this is good, like Benjamin being kind of like just about this stuff. And then Garth, again, like motions for the camera. He's like, hey, come here.
Yeah.
And he takes the camera around the apartment. And he's just, something doesn't feel right about this. I don't like this. And he reaches for this stack of books, and every book is called like How to Pick Up Chicks, How to Get Women, everything.
And I love that Garth's response is, he's smooth. This is proof that he's not. Like,
and Garth picks up his planner, and it says, Thursday, daily reminder, purchase feeble public access cable show and exploit it. And Garth goes, wow, I feel sorry for whoever that is.
Oh man, he's so on top of it and then so not at the same time. He ends up like sneaking in, looking through a drawer and finding condoms that are ribbed for her pleasure. And then his response is, ew. And I'm like, really? Like, I get that Garth is a little bit of like an infantilized character, but still, like, ew is the response. Like, okay, all right.
Garth doesn't like pleasing women. Garth is he's a manosphere guy.
Not a generous lover. Not a generous lover, Garth Algar.
And so Benjamin already has this amazing place. Yeah. He's a cool, good-looking guy, whatever. And he's a high-ranking executive, and then he goes to order food for them, and he orders in perfect Cantonese on the phone.
Even calls out to Cassandra that based on her accent, she sounds like she's more from Kowloon Bay than from Hong Kong.
So
I was born in Kowloon Bay. It's like, well,
so Wayne has nothing. Every advantage that Wayne thinks that he has established for himself are just disintegrate.
Except for the most important one, he makes her laugh.
That's
Benjamin never makes her laugh.
That's true,
and I think that's what ends up being great for.
But he doesn't. At this point, Wayne is not thinking about that,
that's
because
true.
he's only thinking about what he's lacking and everything. Cassandra, the next time they show, I mean, she is just the absolute top of her game again in this movie. Like Tia Carrere is just.
Well, she wears this red in this scene, the red dress with the zippers on it. Oh my God. The thoughts, even at 12 years old, that I have, like, I wonder what it looks like when you start undoing those zippers. Boy, I bet that's interesting. Like, literally, it's hot, like, for sure.
So they're going to Milwaukee now.
Yeah, Benjamin gave them backstage passes to Alice Cooper for the next night, because he's going to have to be with. We have work to do. Cassandra and I have work to do. You guys go to Milwaukee and enjoy seeing Alice Cooper and backstage passes and all that. So they're going.
So get out of my hair, go to Milwaukee, and
then be distracted.
And then we get this parody scene of the intro to the TV show Laverne and Shirley, which took place in Milwaukee, which was a sitcom which had these two women who worked at a brewery there, and all the scenery around Milwaukee, and kind of an iconic intro. And it's funny watching it being like, God, that's kind of a dated reference or whatever. And I looked it up, and Laverne and Shirley ran from 76 to 83.
So it was already
let's say 79, right? So it was 13 years before Wayne's World came out that they're making that reference, which would be like us talking about the movie Wayne's World in 2005.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I'm never going to call a reference dated. Our whole podcast is a dated reference.
That's fair.
But it's so funny at the time to think like, God, that really doesn't hold up. It's like, on the timeline we're on, it's way closer to Laverne and Shirley than it is to today.
That's fair.
But funny, like a good shot for shot kind of remake of the intro to that
forklift
show.
and the assembly line or the bottle line, all of it. It was really good. But they do stop themselves. Like, what are we doing? We've got backstage passes to Alice Cooper. Let's go. I also love, this is when we see the red vine dispenser inside the Mirthmobile, which is like a ceiling mounted.
So that's kind of an indication that it's Garth's car. Like it goes back and forth, right? Or was it like, okay, we get two modifications. I want a CD player that plugs into the tape thing and a red vine dispenser.
I guess. I'm not sure. But because I don't think we see that dispenser early. And we definitely don't. It's not, our attention is not drawn to it, but it may be present earlier in the movie. I didn't notice. But it does seem like the kind of thing Garth invented, right? The way that he's got these little gadgets and things. I don't think that that's a standard aftermarket, install from AMC. Yeah, exactly.
It's not listed on the sticker.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Next to the undercoating. Yeah. But yeah, so we go to Alice Cooper, and this, now the only Alice Cooper song that I'm familiar with and have put on playlists is Feed My Frankenstein.
Right.
Love this song because
Fills
of this
the space
movie.
in the Halloween playlist too.
That's absolutely is great there.
The desert of the Halloween playlist. Alice Cooper provides a little oasis.
But it's a lot of fun. I mean, Alice Cooper was still young enough to sort of be active at this point, even though, he was, 20 years past his height of popularity at this point, really. But he does a great job, and he's got, these people. And so, but Wayne and Garth like, hey, let's go outside. Let's go backstage. Let's go backstage, and they, whatever. There's a weird interaction between them as they go through the crowd and they get to the security guy, where the security guy looks pissed at them, but then sees their badges and still is pissed at them and is like, go. And it's like, at that point, he should probably be like, "Oh, sorry, sir." Like, I mean, I feel like it's a weird reaction for like the security guy in the concert. He's like pissed that he got
foiled. Like, I want to turn people away. Now I don't get to.
Like, oh, no, I have to let you in.
I do. I love the way that they're showing their passes and stuff as they go back there. Alice Cooper is funny because it's like, looking back, we had Ozzy Osbourne and we have Kiss.
Yeah.
We don't need Alice Cooper. You were the RC Cola of shock rockers of the 70s. We don't need you anymore.
Yeah.
But
frankly, we had Frank Zappa and didn't need any of the other ones, really. But
so at this point, there's a security guy played by Chris Farley, who's like, they're like, oh, what's this limo here? Oh, this is record executives, and he's traveling here, and he
Frank
gives
Sharp Records. Yep.
He gives his whole like upcoming itinerary, and then Wayne even says like, boy, that sure is a lot of information.
He was very well informed for a security guard. That's so strange because he also clearly works at the venue. He doesn't work. Right, he's wearing the same yellow shirt that all the venue securities were. So anyway, but then they finally do get backstage.
So they're backstage, and Alice Cooper, of course, it's not this rock star behavior. Is just like this serious conversation. It's like fucking NPR back there, and he's talking about facts about the history of Milwaukee and all these things, and they're just like
my favorite exchange. I mean, obviously the whole Milwaukee kind of thing is funny, but my absolute favorite moment in this exchange is he's talking. Wayne asks, "Oh, so you come to Milwaukee often?" He goes, "Oh, well, Milwaukee's had a lot of visitors, and I've definitely been here a lot, and the French fur traders and like all this kind of stuff." And then his guitarist or whatever goes, "Yeah, isn't Milwaukee an Indian name?" And he goes, "Yes, Pete, it is." The way Alice Cooper says, "Yes, Pete, it is so funny to me. Oh, God.
Let's throw Twisted Sister in the list if we're going to be eliminating bands. Yeah, we can consolidate some of these.
I feel like I'm keeping Twisted Sister out of all the ones we've talked about so far.
That's fine. Alice Cooper can get rolled into Twisted Sister. That's okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. We can do that.
So they're back, and they do the "we're not worthy" thing to Alice Cooper,
which they have to. That's just a throwback to this SNL sketch. They had to find a way to.
You got to make sure to get
like a catchphrase,
get the bullet points. So they're back at the set, and it's been fully done.
Yeah.
Like, I think they saw it before, but now it's like,
well, they did a rehearsal, and now it's like time to shoot and broadcast the first show.
Right.
And
there's
they
like
do it
this
live.
neon sign, like, Noah's Arcade presents Wayne's World and everything.
A new theme song.
The theme song sucks so bad. It's
so
really
terrible. Wayne's World, party time. excellent. And like, no.
I forgot to look this up, but I wonder if that's like some notable person that they had sing that scene just for the fun of it. But yeah, so the show, because now Noah's Arcade is the sponsor,
right?
Every episode is just going to be an interview with the fucking owner.
They said he's going to have a weekly, and I think it's a weekly show.
What is he talk about? He's talking about the new games.
That's what I mean, that was the whole selling point, right? Was they said, like, what's your biggest barrier? And it's like, well, we can't let the kids know when new games come in. It's like the advertising goes so much slower than the technology, which is fucking not true. Right. Certainly not back then, but like whatever. And so they're saying, okay, well, if you had a weekly spot where you could come on and tell people about new games, do you like this? So I think the idea is, the first 2 minutes of every Wayne's World episode is going to be talking to Noah Vanderhoff. Like this is going to sink the show.
Right.
There's no way people are going to keep looking. But Wayne, luckily, has some ideas about how to spice it up a little bit.
Right. And they tell him, they're very clear with him. They're like, we wrote your questions down on these note cards. Use these cards.
Yes.
Okay. Don't fuck with us.
That's right.
There's a lot of money behind this.
That's right.
So Wayne is, he has his note cards and he's asking Noah Vanderhoff the questions, but on the back of the cards, he has written certain things, such as Sphincter Boy
with an arrow
pointing to him.
He blows goats. I have proof.
Yep, I love that one. This man has no penis.
Classic. And so up in the booth, people are busting up laughing, except for Russell and Benjamin, obviously, who are very upset about it. But everybody else up there is laughing, and Mrs. Vanderhoff is like noticing the like reactions from the people, and like giving thumbs up, and like
he thinks he's killing the interview.
He gets off and goes over to his wife, and she's like, "Oh, honey, that went so well. You got a huge reaction from that little room up there." He's like, "Oh, I think that went really well." Like, so Wayne gets shit canned.
Yep, they fire him from his own show.
Such a bummer.
And Cassandra is in Chicago. She's with Benjamin. She's doing this the music video shoot right now.
Yeah, well, I don't know where they are. They're not in Chicago, I don't think, but because are they on a set? I think they're like outside,
some kind of set.
Weird, wherever they are. It's crazy. But he goes to try and like convince her. Right? Is that where we are?
Yeah, and so he's trying to go convince her, because Wayne's like, what can I offer her that Benjamin can't?
Right.
He puts together the pieces with what the security guard, Chris Farley, told him earlier. Oh, can we get Mr. Big from Sharp Records to hear her music?
Yeah.
That's the gift I can give her.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to her and figure out how to set that up. So he's like headed out towards where she's shooting the music video.
Yeah.
And it's this weird like jungle waterfall set. They're in this cheetah pattern stuff. She has a boa around her neck. They're singing, I think, an original song for their band, but the song
they're all covers. It's another cover.
I don't know what this song.
No, but
this song sucks ass. though. I don't like this song. I like a lot of the music in the movie. I did not like this song. Good gag as they're speeding to go meet her and save her, is they get pulled over by the cops.
Right.
And it is Robert Patrick from Terminator 2.
Right. Yeah.
It is the liquid metal cop. So Wayne, he's like, have you seen this boy? And shows him a Polaroid. And Wayne's just like, just starts driving away.
Yeah, it's very good. Because that was right. I mean, T2 was like the year before. So it was great. It was very good. And then so he goes and Wayne gets to the place and is trying to convince Cassandra that, like he made mistakes and but he wants her back. And Benjamin's trying to take advantage of her. And she had been holding this huge snake during the shooting, but like hands it to Benjamin when she comes off, and then Wayne is trying to, and he dips his fingers into like the pitcher of water and sprays him in his face. And then the next like little flashing text on the screen says Oscar clip as he's like pouring his heart out, whatever. And then it's and worst of all, I never learned to read. And then she goes, is that true? And he goes, yeah, everything but the reading part.
So and then and Wayne is like playing this thing where he's convinced that this is all a fake, like, you're not really shooting a music video, then where's the band? Hey Wayne. And like they all walk away. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you guys there. And then he goes to the camera, he's like, oh yeah, there's not even really film in this camera. And he whips open the film container and it starts spilling out this like Naked Gun comical amount of film onto the ground that keeps piling up and piling up,
like the pile of pistachio shells.
Exactly that. And
she tells him to leave. Wayne, leave, whatever. And but then Benjamin's standing right next to her, still holding this like albino python, or whatever the hell it is, and it's like crawling across her chest. And when she goes, wait, is that you or the snake? She realizes like this guy's a bad guy, even if Wayne is being kind of shitty. He did just say he loves you, right? Like, so she chooses Wayne. She leaves with Wayne. Campbell, wait up, whatever. We cut to so now they've got to get her back to Wayne's basement because they're going to shoot a special sort of broadcast that they're going to shoot over. Garth is going to triangulate onto satellites and different stuff and send to the back.
Limo has like a TV satellite,
does it
very obvious and stuff.
Drives everywhere. So they're going to do that. And I noticed one thing I noticed was funny is he's on his computer at home because he's got his Tina Turner dog with him, and he's got like on the screen are all these different satellites that are like pointing down. Right next to his computer, I don't know if this was deliberate, is a Sega Game Gear. And I remember that in the very opening commercial, when we saw Noah's Arcades commercial at the very beginning of the movie, Sonic the Hedgehog was playing in this thing behind him. So it's like, is there a weird Sega
sponsorship?
Yeah, is there a Sega, like a deliberate Sega placement here? I don't know. But yeah, there's a little Game Gear next to his computer. They have to go steal the truck from the local Alexa station in order to do this. And while they're doing it, this is when Wayne, like they're trying to all like army crawl. And Wayne's like, wait, guys, I fell on my keys. Oh, man.
Yeah, they're all there to get the truck, and Russell kind of stops them as they're trying to go, and he's got a flashlight.
Like a
and he's like, "What are you guys doing here?" And Garth is like, "All right, man. Hey, we're trying to do this." And Garth, like at some point, reaches out, grabs the mag light, unscrews it, takes the battery out as if he's taking the clip out of a gun.
It's okay. It's okay.
So he's okay. He's okay. So Russell, of course, comes along with them.
The best line is like he's trying to convince him that Benjamin doesn't like him. Like, Benjamin's not like you, man. Like, he doesn't like you. No, Benjamin's my friend. No. If he were an ice cream flavor, he'd be pralines and dick.
Yes.
It's so good. And then and we're in the car that now Russell is driving the van over to Wayne's house, and Terry's sitting next to him and is like, I love you, man. He goes, I know. No, you don't. I love you, man. And Garth goes, just say thank you. And he says, thank you. And then Terry hugs him and almost makes them crash.
The truck swerve off the
road. Meanwhile, Benjamin is also racing to Wayne's house. I think he's figured out what they're doing, or at least, he sent Russell, to the station. But he gets pulled over along the way, not by Robert Patrick, but by Officer Koharski.
That's right. The body cavity
search. And that clearly happens because then when Benjamin pulls up to Wayne's house and gets out of the car, he has to do so very gingerly and kind of, with a clenched butt cheeks. He's very uncomfortable. But basically they do the broadcast of Crucial Taunt, and he even says Cassandra and Crucial Taunt, which is interesting. Like the name changed or whatever. I don't know if Anthony's going to like that. But they cover Ballroom Blitz, which is, they did it earlier. They did it at the Gasworks. It's a great song. This to me is the canonical version, even though it's a cover of a cover, because the cover was more popular than the original the first time around.
Who is the original?
Remember, dude. Like, honestly,
is it like a Edgar Winter or Rick Derringer or one of those kind of guys?
But it's in that ballpark. But anyway, the point is,
but her version is good. I don't love that song, but I think she has a good version.
Oh, I really like The Man in the Back. I need to crack. It's a good song. But anyway, it looks like the original was Sweet. It was the first one. Maybe that's actually the most popular version, but yeah, it's been done a few times. Anyway, so they're going to do that. And so now, the broadcast starts in Mr. Sharp's, limo, and he's watching it, and she's doing great. She looks great. She's practically wearing like lingerie. She looks fantastic, but she's wailing and the band's doing great.
Yeah.
The limo does a crazy spin. Big old whip around U-turn on the limo. They, so he's driving up, Benjamin's driving up. They both kind of all arrive at the same time. As the song ends, Mr. Sharp has come down the stairs and Benjamin's come in one or the other. I don't know exactly how he got in there, but they're all kind of coalescing. And Sharp walks up and goes like, I just saw your performance and I thought you were really amazing, but I don't think it's the right time. I'm sorry. And then like Benjamin, and then Cassandra's pissed and he's like, Wayne, you ruined my career. And like Benjamin, whatever. And then they end up, Benjamin and Cassandra, like on some, some tropical island. And the sparkly bikini she's wearing, I swear to God, like this was the stuff of my dreams for years.
She's fantastic.
Incredible.
In that. Yeah.
And he even says like, did you really think she'd end up with Wayne?
And the other thing is that Stacy, Wayne's ex-girlfriend, comes into the screen. She's like, Wayne, I'm pregnant. That's how I've been acting so weird. And then all the equipment starts short-circuiting and the house catches on fire
and burns down.
So Wayne comes out like carrying Garth from the charred remains of his house. And then it goes to Benjamin and Cassandra, right? So it's just a nightmare
ending. Possible ending.
And then Wayne and Garth slide in from the side.
Yeah.
They're like, I think we're really going to end it like that. Let's do the Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, the Scooby-Doo ending. So and here's what I love. So there are 3 endings to this movie, right? So the Scooby-Doo ending is the second one. But in each of the endings, we don't get all the same setup, obviously. Like we cut ahead of a lot of the setup. But every time we get Benjamin gingerly stepping out of his car. They make sure to remind us in every version of this ending, Benjamin got a full body cavity search before he arrived.
Rob Lowe's balls have had a rough time on this podcast, right? Between Tommy Boy and this. Yeah, so the Scooby-Doo ending is that Old Man Withers, the guy that we were talking about earlier, who's played such a variety of winos and bums and hobos, they're like, oh, we'll find out who Benjamin really is. And they rip a mask off, and it's Old Man Withers, the owner of the haunted amusement park.
Yeah, I would have gone away with it too if it weren't for that dog, you kids, you're meddling kids or whatever. And then they said, oh, that was cool. Now let's do the mega happy ending. And it's like, this is when, same thing, we see Benjamin gingerly get out of the car. We're back in the basement. And Frank Sharp goes like, you're amazing. I want to sign you to a 6-album deal. And this is when I was like, for covers? For a cover band? You're going to put, like, what are you going to do 6 albums of? This is bizarre. Like, like I get that it was like the early 90s and your image was way more important maybe than your musical talent or your songwriting talent. And maybe his thought is, well, I got songwriters. They'll write songs. She'll, sing them and they'll be huge hits. So I get that that's possible. But like, really, this is like the band you give, all this.
That's a big bite off of hearing a very small thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then Wayne and Cassandra hook up and that's all happy. And then Garth and his dream woman
Donna
encounter
Dixon,
each other. So they get to hook up and
they end telling us that we got fished in, which I'm not really sure was nice. Like, but like fished in, like we bought it. Like, and it's like, well, yeah, we're here to watch the movie.
Yeah.
You guys, this is what you told us. Anyway, good stuff though. So that's
and that's it. That's the end of it. What a fun twist at the end, doing the multiple endings.
It was nice.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I remember watching it the first time and thinking, wow, they really had like this ending is going back when it's like, I remember even as a kid when Mr. Sharp is like, hey, I think you're very talented, you're very beautiful, but this isn't the right time. I was like, oh damn, they didn't let her get like, this doesn't work. And then like it escalates so quickly. You're like, what the fuck is happening? And then when it's like, as if we'd done the movie that way, it's like, oh, okay, it's going to be something. And then it's like, you settle in, but it's like, yeah, they really kind of, I was like, that's such a strange way to end this movie on such a down note. Yeah. What is this, Empire Strikes Back? Like, what are we doing here?
So that's Wayne's World. Well, Steve, this was your pick. Yep. You want to lead us off here with the rating?
Absolutely. Yeah. So this movie is so much fun. And it really, it was not obvious to me before we started just how much has stayed with me over the years from this movie. I don't think I realized like how much of my like general sense of humor was formed by Mike Myers. And I think that, for me personally, like I recognize it more from like So I Married an Axe Murderer, where it's like a lot of the jokes in that movie are like things my wife and I still say to each other on a regular basis. This movie, I didn't realize kind of just how much of it. And I think Wayne's World 2 has a ton as well. I mean, I remember the story about the brown M&Ms and like all this stuff. Right. There's little bits that are like definitely also stick with you. So it's just such a really wonderful, very funny movie. Like to its core, this is an approachable, funny movie. There's really, there's a handful of kind of dirty jokes, but not too bad. No curse words as far as I remember. I think there's, just the real shitty, the shitty Beatles. They use the shit a couple times, but there's no like F-bomb in this one or anything like that. It's just a lot of fun, and the Wayne and Garth characters are just infinitely likable. Even when Wayne kind of pisses everybody off and then quickly has to like make up with Garth and with Cassandra, whatever, he's able to do it because they're just likable characters. Yeah. And that's a good thing for a comedy like this to have. It's not perfect. There's definitely like, parts of it are a little like, okay, well, that was kind of dumb. And we skipped over a couple things. There was like, they opened a door at Stan Nikita's once, and a bunch of special forces guys were like training, but it's kind of like, oh, that's weird. Okay. Kind of funny, but like whatever. So yeah, I'm a 4 out of 5 on Wayne's World. I think this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It's definitely something that has stuck with me, but I can't really go higher than a 4 just on like basic kind of how good is the movie kind of thing. Like it's a really enjoyable time, but like as a film, like it doesn't, garner kind of more praise from me than that. So I'm a 4 out of 5 on Wayne's World.
That's solid. Yeah. And I'm with you on the likability of the characters. It makes such a difference to be able to just like, hey, I'm signing up to hang out with these guys for an hour and a half. And I'm okay with that because, it's fun to be part of Wayne's World. It's fun to tune in and watch the sketch and all that stuff. And this movie really created a whole world around them. A Wayne's World, you might say. No, but this, and they did enough, like we said, that they made a sequel to this that's also very good that came out like a year later or 2 years later. So
less than 2 years.
I mean, just banged it out. So there was a lot of material here. All the choices for the side characters, I think, were funny. I think they were well placed. A lot of times with big comedies, you'll see them kind of shoehorning in a cameo of someone just to show you the person, but you're just like, yeah, but they're not funny. I don't give a if you just put like Conor McGregor, or just some random famous asshole in a movie to be like, why do we do that? And they didn't really do that here. They had very skilled actors down to the small parts. I mean, Ed O'Neill as such a minuscule part there, you know, Laura Flynn Boyle is such a small part. I'm with you on the rating. I'm going to give Wayne's World a 4 out of 5. It goes very quickly. It's very fun. The music is good.
Quite good, yeah.
And especially if you're into that type of music, it's a good collection. Tia Carrere doing her own singing gets a lot of points. So yeah, nothing wrong with Wayne's World. One of the best SNL movies we had, and probably of the 80s and 90s. Yeah, top 3. So
for sure,
loved it.
Excellent.
4 out of 5 for Wayne's World.
8 out of 10 from the two dads on Wayne's World. That doesn't surprise me at all. So we're going to move on now to 1993, and that is your pick, Nick. What are we watching for 93?
1993, we are going to a movie that I have seen so many times. I think at one point I could probably do a decent job of just reciting the movie from beginning to end, just like knowing every part of it. And we're taking a departure from comedy, although this is one, like sometimes you watch something enough that it becomes a comedy, even if it's not a comedy, right? So you just like, you get attached to certain things in it, and it's funny.
I feel that way about Predator for the record.
Exactly. But I'm interested to see how this one comes off. We're going to go to Compton, California, 1993, and we're going to see what the Hughes brothers have to show us in 1993's Menace to Society.
Nice.
This is one that I saw a ton in college, and it is actually, you know, came out I think a couple years after Boys in the Hood. I think Boys in the Hood might have been 91 or so, but there was this whole run of this type of movie. They were kind of like hood movie to various degrees of success.
Colors,
and some were very successful, some were very exploitative, some were very cheesily done and everything. So I think this is one of the better ones, and I'm very interested to see how it holds up under some analysis. I think it's definitely worth seeing as like a relic of the time. And I look forward to chatting with you about it next week. 1993's Menace to Society.
That's awesome. I've never seen Menace to Society, so this is going to be interesting for me. I've seen Boys in the Hood, I've seen Higher Learning, I've seen New Jack City, like all kind of in similar ballparks. I feel like in a lot of ways. But this one's new to me, so this is going to be exciting. Very, very excited to watch Menace to Society for the first time.
All right.
About it. That's a wrap. So if you like what you hear, please consider heading over to Apple or Spotify and leaving us a 5-star review. It helps new folks find the show. Be sure to check out our website at twodads1movie.com. That's the number 2 and the number 1. There you can explore the movies we've covered, sign up for our newsletter, The Rewind, and even get sneak previews of upcoming episodes. We'd also love it if you followed us on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky at 2dads1movie. Once again, this has been Wayne's World, another episode of 2 Dads 1 Movie. I'm Steve.
And I'm Nick.
Thank you so much for listening. Party on, and we'll catch you next week.
Thanks, everyone.